clean, wasn't it? If you want to keep it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will do that arrangement.
There we are.
Well done. Magic touch.
That's all in place. Good evening, councillors and ladies and gentlemen, members of the public, and welcome to this Sandwich Town Council ordinary meeting Monday the 24th of June 2024. I was going to say we usually have a thing when it gets over sort of 20 degrees. There's an announcement: you can take off your jackets and loosen your ties, gentlemen. It's the protocol, but if you've already taken off your jackets and loosened your ties, then you're ahead of me. So those of you that would like to make yourself more comfortable, please do so. Okay then, item number one is Chair's opening remarks. I've just got a few this evening. First of all, could I just remind everybody to please give your apologies. We're having some meetings where there's a lack of apologies being given, and it's causing problems with knowing who's attending and who's not attending, and it could make the committee meetings incorporate. So if you could give advance notice if you're taking annual leave or you've got any appointments or something like that, if you could please give your apologies in advance, that would be appreciated there. Thank you very much. The next item was, I was going to say, obviously due to the warm weather, if anybody's available, myself, the Mayoress and a lady called Lucy from the station, we've all planted up this station along with Sandwich in Bloom, and that's all planted up now, but it will need some volunteers to do watering there. So if anybody has got any spare time in the evenings, if you could perhaps pop along to the station and water the flowers, that would be most appreciated. We're in the competition for best station in bloom in the southeast, so let's see if we can win it. So thank you very much. I've got a reminder here, 19th of July, before our next meeting. 19th of July is the Deputy Supper, and I'd like to see as many councillors there as possible, please, because this is a big event when the deputies come from all our limbs, and it's another ceremony, a bit like mayor making and what have you like that. So it'd be nice to see as many councillors attend the Deputy Supper. The town clerk's gone to a lot of effort to put on a really pleasant evening. So, and of course there's food and drink as well at that one. So if you can attend, please do so. The other thing was, I was just going to say this evening, if you could just make note that if anything has come from a committee, it's been discussed and agreed, so their recommendations are coming through. So unless you've got very strong opposing considerations, please listen to the committee's results there, and so that's already been semi-agreed. And then the last thing I was going to do was do my little bit to say that I actually went to, myself and the Mayoress spent the weekend in Brightlingsea, which is one of our limbs, and we went up on Friday and Saturday to visit them and to do the Mayor's annual visit. And it's amazing how Brightlingsea know all about Sandwich, and they're really pleased. They're looking forward to coming down on the 19th of July, and they've got a really good, strong friendship up there, and they consider all of us their brothers and sisters. So if ever you go up there and you mention you're from Sandwich, you'll get a very, very, very warm welcome, and they're absolutely wonderful their dual apps and their mayor deputy, but it was a very good weekend flying the flag for Sandwich. Item number 2, apologies for absence received. Can you tell me what
Yes.
councillors are absent, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So Councillor Breen has a travel commitment. Councillor Wiles has a travel commitment. Councillor Marie has a work commitment. Councillor Black a medical reason, and Councillor Gray a travel commitment.
Okay, thank you very much for that. That's great. Thank you. And item number 3 is declarations of interest, and this is to receive any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interest from members in respect of business to be transacted on the agenda this evening. I'll kick off item number 13. That is for me, the Mayor. I will not be voting on that item there. Councillor Mrs Carter.
Also item number 13.
Thank you very much. And Councillor Ripley.
Ditto.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
13 on that item. Councillor Moorhouse, you don't have to get up because of your medical situation.
Myself too.
Okay.
And that is for item number
13.
13. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's good there. I don't believe there were any more.
No.
That's good. So, item number 4, minutes of the full council meeting and committees. To approve the minutes of the annual town council meeting of Sandwich Town Council held on the 9th of May 2024, and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in the agenda. And this is attachment number 1. Does anybody have any issues to raise on this matter? These minutes at all? No? Okay. Would somebody like to propose these minutes? Councillor Chuka, thank you. And Councillor Pennington is seconding those. All those in favour, please raise your cards or your hand. Okay,
Thank you.
that's passed. Thank you very much. I don't believe there's any abstentions there. Thank you very much. Okay. That one. To approve the minutes of the mayor making ceremony held on the 9th of May 2024, and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in this agenda. This is attachment number 2. Oh, thank you very much. That's proposed. Do I have a seconder? And that's Councillor Chuka. And all those in favour, please show. And that's unanimous. Thank you very much. That item has been passed. To approve the minutes of the ordinary meeting of Sandwich Town Council held on the 20th of May 2024, and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in the agenda. This is attachment number 3. Does anybody have anything to raise? No? Could I have a proposer? Thank you, Councillor Fortescue. And a seconder? Oh, Councillor Anderson, thank you. And all those in favour, please show. Okay.
One abstention.
And that's one
I
abstention.
wasn't here.
No, indeed, thank you.
Okay.
And the next one is to receive the minutes of the Planning Committee held on the 13th of May 2024, and this is attachment 4. Do I have a proposer for those? Councillor Chuka, and a seconder? Okay, or Councillor Franklin?
Yeah.
That's good. And all those in favour, please show.
Thank you. Yeah, one abstention.
I wasn't here. So.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. That is passed there. And finally, to receive the minutes of the Finance and General Purposes Committee held on the 22nd of May 2024, and this is attachment number 5. Have I got any comments on that? No? Could I have a proposer and a seconder, please? Proposed by Councillor Franklin. I'll second that.
Okay.
All those in favour, please show. Okay, and that's one abstention. Thank you very much. That is passed there. Item number 5 is payment schedules. 5A is to receive and note the payments for mid-June, totaling £25,509. Those payments which are not supported by a minute reference have been authorised by officers with delegated powers of expenditure. This is attachment number 6, and I'm quite happy to propose this. Do I have a seconder? Yes, Councillor Franklin. And all those in favour of this item, please show. Okay, we've got just one abstention there. That's been passed, thank you. Item 5B is to receive and approve the scheduled payments for June, totalling 12,867 and 3 pence, and that is attachment number 7. Any issues? I've got a proposal. Councillor Tutor, I'll second that. All those in favour, please show. And we've got one abstention. Thank you. That item is passed. Item 5C, Council is to confirm nomination of 2 signatories to authorise the end of June payment schedules on Bankline. And item 5D is to Council to confirm nomination of 2 signatories to authorise mid-July. I can do that one, can I?
Yes, yes.
The second one? Okay.
So
So
it's
5C.
5C.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
looking for 2.
I'll see. So 5C, we're looking for 2 nominees for the end of June payment, and it can't be me. So could I have 2 nominees? Councillor Franklin, and did you say Councillor Wiles will be back?
My understanding is that Councillor Wiles is due back on Thursday. So if members are happy with the suggestion of Councillor Wiles, because the payment should be signed off on Thursday, no later than Thursday. There isn't anybody else currently here that I know will be back in time.
Okay. Oh,
Just on that point, could I ask that a number of us, well, a small number of us, have volunteered in the past, and it's probably 12 months now we've been waiting. I know there's been hiccups in the process, and not relating to the officers at all, but there are others that are
Yes.
maybe not biting at the bit, but certainly interested in joining the list.
Yes, I've had the conversations over the RFOs. There are 2 of you, you, Councillor Duca and Councillor Ripley, and that will be progressed as soon as possible. Hopefully by next week you'll be in the process.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was, if I can just update you on this, the RFO said that apparently previously it had been put forward on 2 occasions, but there was a break in the bank didn't get the authority they should have got, basically. So it's just been put forward last week, and Councillor Franklin and myself agreed, both of you as nominees, and I just heard today back from NatWest, and it said that it had all been passed. Councillor Franklin probably got the same. So that should come through very, very shortly. So thank you for your assistance with that. And then item number 5D is 2 signatories for the mid-July payment, and on Bankline, so that being myself, Councillor Carter, and Councillor Franklin as well as put himself forward. Okay.
You just need to vote on this.
That's what I was just going to do actually. I was going to do them together. So,
Thank you.
So for items 5C and 5D, can I have a proposer and seconder for those? So Councillor Ripley and Councillor Moorhouse, and all those in favour of those signatories, please show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's unanimous. Thank you. That's passed. Item number 6 is public participation, and we have a 20-minute session is set aside for members of the public to make representations at the meeting in respect of the business on the agenda and other matters if time permits. Individual representation should not exceed 5 minutes. Written notice of the desire to exercise the right to speak, together with the topic to be addressed, must be given to the Town Clerk prior to noon on the day of the meeting. Do we have
No
any?
requests, Mr. Mayor.
No requests. Okay then, super. Thank you very much for that. Item number 7 is a verbal report from our Dover District Councillors on matters relating directly to Sandwich only, please. Councillor Moorhouse, please remain seated due to your...
I don't mind standing up for this.
Are you sure? For your medical... Are you sure you'll be fit?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, thank you.
Right, firstly, 57 Lee Street. I understand that there was a site meeting there on the 19th of June, and I'm waiting for feedback on that. I reported at the last council meeting and at the last planning meeting about improved disabled access to a block of flats in St Bart's Road that are predominantly for elderly residents. And I'm pleased to say that work has finally started on that. I'm in contact at the moment with the planning enforcement manager for Montague Place and with Abbey Homes because of incorrect signage being put up. Some of the road names are actually incorrect, which could be quite disastrous for any emergency vehicle, and obviously parcels going missing, etc. There's also a failure in the plan that was put forward for planting the trees. They haven't actually planted in accordance with the plan. There's been very little in the way of maintenance of the trees, so I'm on the case with that as well. And yesterday I learned that there's something of a land grab going on with one of the, I think it's just one particular resident or two that is using some space between boundaries to extend their own gardens. So I'm trying to arrange a site meeting about that. With regard to Britannia Terrace, I pointed out some incorrections with the planning officer and I'm waiting for feedback on that. Also, with regard to Schoolhouse, where there's been a breach of some of the planning conditions that were set down, I have raised this with Dover, and again, I wait for responses. They're not particularly quick at getting back to me on anything, and mainly due to the amount of people who are on annual leave at the moment, which is quite understandable. Everyone's entitled to a holiday. And finally, regarding the planning application for 6 St Peter Street, and I'm extremely disappointed that one of our district councillors for this town, who purports to be some kind of business guru, saviour of the businesses of Sandwich, actually proposed the conversion of a perfectly good commercial premises to be converted into a residential dwelling on the basis that it's been empty for 10 years. We cannot afford to lose valuable retail space. We have to hope that at some point in the future, this country does get back on its feet and we experience economic growth again. And when we do, we want small businesses to be attracted to Sandwich. It sends out the wrong message if we are allowing perfectly good commercial premises in prime location. When you consider the amount of business that is down that way, the Vinos, the old pharmacy, we want people to migrate down that way, and shutting down a perfectly good commercial premises just sends out the wrong message, and I'm extremely disappointed. I planned to attend that planning meeting on the 13th of June. Unfortunately, because of injury and hospitalisation, I was unable to, which I deeply regret. And that's about my finish for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that report, Councillor Moorhouse. Thank you very much. That's excellent. Did anybody have any questions at all? Oh, Councillor Pennington.
Thank you. Yes, I just wanted to point out that the Planning Committee has discussed this issue of shops not being kept open and often turned over to residential use. It is something we're really concerned about, and I really think we should try and on every occasion to underline that concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Of course, Councillor Moorhouse.
Yeah, also coming back to that, in the past, the Chamber of Commerce has been an active opponent of these conversions. The Chamber of Commerce used to meet every month. And in fact, the Chamber of Commerce was quite an active group. And I recall back in 2012 when Trevor Cartner and Chris Musgrove took over Discovery Park. And the appointed managing director, one of the first things he did was invite the Chamber of Commerce to attend quarterly meetings at Discovery Park to forge better links with the town. And it's disappointing now that the Chamber of Commerce seems to be some kind of underground operation that does absolutely nothing. And one of the things it should be doing is opposing these conversions of commercial premises into residential dwellings, and also speaking out against parking charges. I hear a lot of noise about parking charges that the Labour administration has imposed, but it's the same kind of parking charge increase the Conservative administration. It's finger pointing and pointless.
Yeah.
And
Do you have any suggestion as to what we may be able to do for the commercial premises? Because obviously, as you and me and Councillor Franklin know, in the past, Dover District Council actually had an area, designated area in the town where properties were not allowed to be turned into residential. And we had their guarantee that they would not be.
I believe that those prime locations were Market Street and King Street.
Indeed.
And King Street does extend a little bit into St Peter Street
Yeah.
because of the carpet shop, because of the former premises that Justin's owned for so many years, brewers, etc.
Yeah.
Some of them are officially in St Peter Street, and the Nationwide Building Society, which is the only sort of banking building society outlet that we've got left in the town. You think back 15 years ago, we had 4 banks.
Exactly.
Now we have none.
No. Thank you very much for that, Councillor Moorhouse. Thank you. Item number 8 is the KCC. This is a verbal report from our Kent County Councillors on matters relating to SANDRICH. Are you okay to stand at all?
I'm fine, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Chandler, are you okay? Yeah. If you need to be seated, please take a seat.
No, good. I'm fine. Thank you. Good evening, Mr Mayor. Good evening, councillors. I understand from the clerk that you wish to have an update on the reception centres for unaccompanied asylum-seeking children. I'm very happy to give that, and I'll come to the particular one that has raised a concern for Sandwich Town Council as we go through. But just to make sure that you're sort of aware of the history, it was back in July 2023, so KCC have been taking care of unaccompanied asylum-seeking children since about 2014. And we've had, since 2015, we've had 2 reception centres operating in Kent, one in Ashford and one near Cranbrook. In 2023, last year, Justice Chamberlain ruled that we had to house every child. We had had an arrangement with the Home Office whereby some children were taken directly to other authorities and some children were housed in hotels by the Home Office. Justice Chamberlain said that Kent County Council had a responsibility to take every child that landed in Kent. And to do that, we would have to increase our capacity extremely significantly. Because of that, we have looked for suitable premises for reception centres across Kent, suitable for reception centres across Kent, and we are in progress of putting those in place. There will be 9 in total. All of the reception centres will be owned by KCC. They will be staffed by KCC. The staff who man those reception centres, as have been the case in the 2 we run already, will be properly qualified social workers, and they will be managed and staffed 24 hours a day. They will be registered children's homes. They will be Ofsted registered, as is the requirement now, and you will know that one of those premises is what was formerly a care home some years ago in Ash called Highview Oast. So Highview Oast will become a children's home for 20 up to 22 under 16 children on a temporary basis. So these children are with us for the time it takes, usually around 10 days, sometimes a little bit longer, for the time it takes for them to be transferred to their permanent home on what's called the National Transfer Scheme, which is a scheme whereby local authorities across the country and Scotland and Wales have a quota. In other words, they take so many, which relates to the number of children they have in their administrative area. So for Kent, we still have that permanent quota, and that's 352, but other authorities have that as well. And there is a scheme whereby those young people are transferred to those other local authorities. So they will only be with us for just over 10 days usually. They won't be joining local schools, so although they get a certain level of education and basic information when they're with us, that's provided in-house. And they are given every care while they're with us. We have Ofsted recommendations to know that we are giving those children the best of care while they are with us, and we continue to have that Ofsted rating. I'm happy to answer any questions that people might have about that particular aspect. So I think the question was, what impact would the centre at Highbury West have on Sandwich? And I think I can pretty safely say that the level of impact on Sandwich will be negligible. I can't say absolutely zero, but I would say negligible. But I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does anybody have any other questions? Oh yeah, I think your hand went up first.
Yeah.
Mrs. Hayton.
With regard to that, I actually sent a request for freedom of information regarding all of this because I first heard of it on the local news. KCC didn't answer. They did not answer me within the 21 days. I sent another email. They didn't answer. I tried to phone. I couldn't get through to the necessary people. In the end, we contacted the commissioner, and all of a sudden, we got the information. I'm saying to you, because of that, and because of what I have heard from other people in Sheppey, in Ash, in Gravesend, the feeling is that KCC is trying to keep this all under wraps without telling the population in the various places what is proposed. Like Ash was told the day before, that's the council, parish council, was told the day before KCC made the announcement. And that simply is not acceptable. People have to remember KCC, all the councillors, all the officers are there to work for us, the residents, wherever they are in Kent. And this way we feel you're doing things to suit yourself. It does not necessarily suit everybody else.
Do you have a specific question for Councillor Chandler there?
I've got a whole load here.
All right, yeah, we are looking for specific questions about this matter.
Right, well, in all this, I now understand that KCC could very well go into receivership, for want of a better word, that you're about £80 million down a black hole, and you are now asking residents for their views or suggestions on how to save money. Am I correct in thinking that?
So there was a budget consultation which started last week, which is asking residents for their views on the budget that we will begin to be formulating this autumn. And we always do this. This is standard practice. We ask residents for their views on priorities across the council.
Well, the thing is, we're trying to give you our priorities, but you're not listening. I can give you a list of priorities here, but we don't ever seem to receive that. And this isn't in any particular order, but we want police on the streets. We want the care homes for our elderly, not them kicked out of their care homes by KCC.
Mrs. Hayter, sorry, could I ask? I think it's
That
probably.
is a question.
Oh yeah,
Why
indeed.
Are you doing that?
But they're going off onto different subjects. Policing isn't a matter for Kent
Well,
County
all
Council.
right, then care homes are. They closed the one here.
Yeah. Would
They
you be
closed
able
them
to?
all over the place, and that holds up hospital beds.
Yeah.
So,
Would you be able to email them directly, perhaps, to Councillor Chandler?
Yeah.
Yes, I can do that if I have the email number, but I want the people of the residents of Sandwich to hear all this, because otherwise they don't get to know it all.
That's, yeah, but we can't go on hearsay. It's got to be factual information.
Well, this is my facts.
Indeed, yeah. I
And
think
would trust my facts more than KCC facts.
Okay then. The town clerk would be quite happy to give you
Give
the
me the-
email
the
address of
Yeah.
Councillor
Right.
Chandler, if that's
And
okay.
also, I would just like to point out that these so-called children who are going to be educated in these homes, I don't understand how that's going to work, because as I understand it, KCC was so appalling at looking after the special educational needs of children that it was going to be taken out of their control. So how come you can't do that for the children already in this country, but now you can do it for new arrivals? How come that children in this country are abused on a daily basis, and the excuse always is we haven't got enough social workers?
I
But
think,
now we've got loads of social workers
Mrs
to
Hayter.
look after this. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
rant for this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
I've
okay,
said
yeah.
this.
We don't do rants here, we do questions and answers from
Yeah, but you
professional.
never get good answers, see, that's the problem.
Can I ask that you direct
Sit
any
down.
more questions you have via the
Yeah.
town clerk, and she will pass them on to
Thank
Councillor
you.
Chandler.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because
I've got them all here.
Councillor Chandler.
And then possibly we can put them out on the website so that the whole of Sandwich can see them.
Indeed,
Would
yeah.
that be all right?
That'd be fine. Thank you very
Thank
much
you
for
so
that.
much. Thank you
Would you
very
like to
much.
take your
Sorry
seat?
to-
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go home now.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you very much for
Mr.
attending.
Mayor,
Bye-bye, everyone.
before you go home, I do have some answers if you're interested.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
if
Oh,
you
that's-
want
oh,
to.
oh, sorry.
Mayor is
Oh yeah, yeah. I'd be more than
to-
happy if
I'll
you're
try and be
if
brief.
that's okay. Yeah,
I'll
Councillor
try and be
Chandler.
brief. So going back to your original comments, there were some comments about communications in relation to Highview Oast. As you can see, all the information about the asylum centres is on the website, including Highview Oast, and I'll make sure that the clerk has the link
Thank you.
so she can put that out. And that includes the 2 letters that have been sent to residents in the locality of Highview Oast, which tells them exactly what is happening. I had a meeting with the parish council the day before those letters went out. I also had personal conversations with both head teachers, both of whom I have to say were, I should say, probably welcoming of the opportunity to interact in due course with the reception centre if that could be achieved. We had legal processes which were not completed until the day before I spoke to the parish council. We cannot give information about property which we do not own. And in that instance, we did not own that property until the day before I was able to advise the parish council. I did so as soon as I was able to. I also posted the letter on social media.
But you could have then put back your dates to speak to the parish council if you hadn't got your procedures in place.
We had got procedures in place, and our communication with others was part of that procedure. So moving on, you were talking about policies and the budget consultation. That budget consultation is analysed to considerable degree, and that analysis of the consultation, together with responses and analysis of the responses, is published at every meeting which discusses the budget when we have that budget process as we go through. And there will be quite a number of those as the budget is published, first in draft and then at the final budget meeting. And there is an opportunity for scrutiny to look at that. There is also an opportunity for every cabinet committee to look at the particular part of the budget that relates to them. At each of those points, the consultation responses to the budget consultation and that report will be part of that. Clearly, there are some issues which are very difficult for KCC, as they are for the entire country at the moment, and adult social care is actually one of those issues. So I accept that we as a council are finding the provision of adult social care difficult within our financial envelope that we have. We are doing our best to ensure that we make sure that both adults and children's social care are the top priorities, and you can see that by looking at the share of this year's budget that is actually allocated to those things.
Not enough.
In terms of special educational need, oh, and incidentally, we are not at risk of any kind of, it's actually a section, I can't remember the term now, but it's actually a particular process that we go through if we are financially not able to continue. We are nowhere near that point at this time. In terms of special educational needs, yes, we were requires improvement for special educational needs, and we have very, very comprehensive plans in place that have taken place over the last 18 months to ensure that we're dealing with that in the best possible way in conjunction with the Department of Education and the Department for Health. And we have had our accelerated progress plan just reviewed. Things are intervened, so we're not getting the outcome of that for a few weeks, but we will get the outcome of that. And the hope is that you will see that we are improving. I have to say that too is a national issue, and you can read that every council, pretty much every council, has seen an escalation in the claims for special educational needs. The education that the asylum seekers get is a very, very different kind of sort of preliminary familiarisation with the language and with the customs of our country, which they will need before they go on to their permanent home, where of course they will receive any education that they might be entitled to. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll happily answer email questions, and we'll go from there.
Thank you very much for that, Councillor Chandler. So, get well soon, yeah. Thank you. Okay. At this point, did you want to leave at all, Mrs. Hayter?
Well, I do really.
You don't have to, but it's just an opportune occasion. Oh, sorry, Councillor Pennington.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, firstly, I think it's right that in a decent country we do provide care and support for these unfortunate children. I wanted to make that clear. Secondly, I am somewhat reassured about covering the needs for language teaching and SEN teaching, and I hope that we will get regular reports on those points. It's an interesting issue, and I hope that it will be covered fully in future. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for those comments. Item number 9 is report from the local police representative and the community warden for Sandwich, and this is to receive reports from local police representatives and or community wardens if available. Do we have any reports, Town Clerk?
We don't have any reports, Mr. Mayor, but I can tell you that PC Lauren was in the Guildhall this morning from 10 until 12 noon. She did receive a number of visits, so it was a very productive morning for 2 hours that she was there, and the residents obviously took full advantage of that. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware that she's doing these regular visits to the Guildhall and making herself available each month, and that will be recorded on our social media and on our, as a news item on our website as well, so that everyone has a full opportunity to take advantage of that. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that feedback there. And item number 10 is updates from councillors, and this is to receive and note verbal updates from councillors on meetings they have attended as nominated representatives of the council only. Councillor Mallet first, and then Councillor Moorhouse.
I'll be very brief. I went to a Resilience Forum meeting in Ashford.
Indeed, you did.
Today's meeting, very interesting, with discussion, presentations by Met Office, the police and the Environment Agency. What I took away from it, amongst many, many other things which I think is relevant, but I notice has been done already, is to be able to identify council staff by the use of high-vis jackets. We also suggested armbands, but I noticed that we have high-vis jackets with Sandwich Town Council on the back of it, having seen the D-Day celebrations. So you beat me to it. But apart from going a bit further, that's it.
Oh, super. Thank you very much for that. Councillor Moorhouse was next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the Days and Sorts Trustee Committee meeting on Wednesday the 19th of June. One of the things that came out of it was the storage of some very valuable artefacts connected with Days and Sorts, including sketches by Dennis Hart. And there is an issue and a need to find a storage space. So a direct question would be, the committee asked me to pose to the council, is there anywhere within this building where those artefacts could be stored safely? At the moment they're in the Nissan hut, they're at risk of getting damaged through damp and other airborne contamination. I do believe that these are priceless. They may not have any monetary value, but they are priceless artefacts to do with Days and Sorts, and we should endeavour to do our best to find a solution.
Indeed, thank you for that. Could we raise that with the museum coordinator, perhaps?
That's what I was going to suggest.
Who would the museum coordinator contact?
I think the best person to contact would be the chairman, John Summers.
John Summers. Okay, then.
I don't necessarily feel that this is a museum issue.
No.
It's certainly a preservation issue in terms of something that has been established in the town for more than 50 years and is a very valuable asset.
Indeed.
It's very unusual to have a town with a nature reserve within its confines.
Exactly. Yeah. Town clerk.
Yeah, it's just to point out that obviously all the areas that are available in the Guildhall for storing anything like this is all under the remit of the Guildhall Museum. So it's only correct that we talk to the museum coordinator and you know, ascertain the volume of the space that's required, you know, and talk about that as well. Thank you.
There's also a necessity with artefacts and things like that, bringing them into this building in case they have to be evaluated. If you brought a wooden item in that had woodworm in it, and then it was stored within the building. So there's a large number of issues that need to be evaluated before it's brought to this building.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bears. Yeah, so they're quarantined. There have been items that come down from the attic that have been quarantined before they go into the collection store. So all that would need to be factored in as well. Thank you.
That's true. Councillor Chuka, please stand.
Four activities to go through, two representing the mayor at events. So firstly, the mayor making ceremony for the new mayor of Margate. I attended that on behalf of Sandwich Town Council. Without going into too much detail, it was a very different experience to our mayor making. So much so that City and Sweet made a guest appearance as one of the promoters of the deputy mayor. So I'll leave that one there. Today, myself and Councillor Franklin attended the Armed Forces Day flag raising at Dover Town Council offices. That was a very enjoyable event, albeit short. And then two practical activities. Firstly, I attended the White Mills Apple Park neighbourhood meeting. So we may recall that last year, when they had their last international event, there was a lot of repercussions for local neighbours around the noise levels. In preparation for the international event that's happening later this week, they took steps either off their own back or as a result of the feedback that they got from the District Council. Whatever way, it was good to see them actually wanting to go on the front foot. And there was a session there where neighbours around the Apple Park were invited in, and I was there from Sandwich Town Council, and just basically ran through what we're doing now as opposed to what we didn't do last time in relation to noise management. They took questions from the floor in terms of any neighbours' ongoing concerns. So the expectation, hopefully, is that the lessons have been learned. That the event, the international event that starts shortly, there will be a different approach to the management of noise, and actually neighbours, should there be any problems, actually have some access points. So one of the The real criticisms was a closed door to anybody willing to listen about complaints last time, but it looks like things are different now. So there's an officer there that they've got who will oversee everything and be the go-to person over the event. And then the second practical activity was meeting with Councillor Chandler and the KCC Community Engagement Officer for Dover and Thanet to discuss how we relaunch a highway improvement plan. There's an amount of activity that will be needed around that, but that will happen in the second half of this year. But in July, KCC have offered to run a small number of speed surveys identified against specific hotspots around the town. They've got that list, so there will be, during July, 3 surveys run to provide data to feed into discussions that we will have about what goes on to our highway improvement plan later in the year.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for all those meetings that you attended and where you deputised for myself. I'm sorry to hear that the glove puppets caused you any concern in our game.
It's a bit of a surprise.
Thank you very much. Were there any more representations? No? Thank you very much. Item number 11, financial information, financial budget comparison and bank reconciliation. Item 11A is to receive and note the Sandwich Town Council bank reconciliation as at May 2024 as attachment 8A, and item B is to receive and note the Sandwich Town Council financial budget comparison report, and this is item 8B. I will take these two items on block. Do we have any comments before we go for the vote on these items? If not, we have a proposer from Councillor Franklin and a seconder from Councillor Tuker. All those in favour of these two items, please show. Okay, that's been carried. Thank you very much, councillors. Item number 12, finances and annual governance annual return. 2020, this is for 2023-24. Item 1 is to receive and note the Sandwich Town Council bank reconciliation as at 31st of March, income and expenditure, budget and petty cash. That is attachment 9. Should I take these individually? Because this is
Yes,
AGAR,
you
isn't
should,
it?
yes, please.
Yeah, so this is, I'll just to give a little bit of a background, this is what's commonly termed by the acronym AGAR. So this is our official annual return. So this is sort of really mega important so that we get this right on this item here. So we're going to vote on each of the items here. So the first one is to note the bank reconciliation at the 31st of March 2024, and that's attachment number 9. Did anybody have any comments on that? Oh, thank you very much. If not, I'm quite prepared to propose that if somebody's happy to second that. It's Councillor Ripley seconding that. All those in favour of the bank reconciliation for the end of March 2024, please show. Thank you, that's been carried. Thank you very much. Do you want that one back?
Sign that one, please.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Part of the way there. Thank you for bearing with me. Item 12.2, as per financial regulations, please consider and reconfirm that staff salary payments should continue to be made by the BACS process. So are all councillors happy to do that? So that's been proposed by Councillor Moorhouse and seconded by Councillor Ripley. Please show if you agree to that. Using BACS, that's been passed. Thank you very much. Item there. Item 12.3, as per financial regulations, please consider and reconfirm that payments by variable direct debit is acceptable in relation to payments for electricity, gas, water, internet, broadband, phone charges, HR and photocopier contracts. Are you happy with that? So that's Councillor Moorhouse, is it? Councillor Ripley is seconding. All those in favour of variable direct debits. Thank you very much. That item has been passed. And 12.4, to consider the findings of the review of the effectiveness of and system of internal control, page 3 of the annual governance and accountability return for the year ending 31st March 2024, and the mid-year and year-end audits from the internal auditor, statement of internal control to be read by the town clerk and council asked to approve. And this is items, attachments 10A and 10B, and this is the official document that has to be signed off. So,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So yes, you'll see in your pack, you've got the annual internal audit report, and this has been provided by Mulberry. So this is the auditor who visited on the 13th of May and carried out a very robust and in-depth audit. As part of the pack also, you've got the interim audit report that was produced in November 2023. That was the interim visit. And then you've also got the year-end report, which was produced on the 13th of May. So hopefully members have had an opportunity to read those reports. And I have to commend the Responsible Financial Officer for all the hard work. I was in support, but clearly, you know, this is an outstanding report from the internal auditor. So I just wanted to thank her for that. So this statement of internal control, this is for the year ending the 31st of March. It lays out the scope of the responsibility for the council, the purpose of the system of internal control, the internal control environment. So this is, the council has appointed a chair, in our situation the mayor, who is responsible for the smooth running of meetings, and a town clerk for ensuring that all council decisions are lawful. The council reviews its obligations and objectives and approve budgets for the following year at the November meeting. December 2023 meeting of the council approved the level of precept for the fiscal year 24-25. The full council meets 11 times each year and monitors progress against the aims and objectives at each meeting and receives relevant reports from the town clerk. We also carry out reviews of our internal controls, systems and procedures. It then goes on to lay out the roles of the town clerk and the responsible financial officer, and talks as well about payments, how the payments are reported to council for approval. 2 members of the council must authorise every cheque and online payment, so no officers do any authorisation, and the direct debit arrangements are reviewed annually, as you have just done so. Income is received and banked in the council's name in a timely manner and reported to the council on your income reports. The council is responsible as well for monitoring the achievements of the objectives and the facilitation of policy and decision making, ensuring compliance with established policies, procedures, laws and regulations, and overall responsibility for the management of risk. The council, including all committees, the town clerk and RFO and other staff, all contribute to the identification and management of risk. Any identified weaknesses in the area are addressed and actioned by the council. And through standing orders, financial regulations and terms of reference, the council uses delegated authority of the town clerk for self-audit mechanisms and controls to ensure that best value and financial propriety are achieved. All committee and council receive regular and up-to-date reports on financial activities under their direction, and performance is regularly monitored against financial and operational budgets. It then goes on to talk about the internal audit, which I think you're all familiar with, and the external audit. So this is now this part of the process of the annual governance annual return. This is where we are sending this return off to our external auditors, Cllrs LLP. And they are independently appointed and submit an annual report and certificate of audit, usually by the end of September, which will be presented to the council once they've examined the annual governance and accountability return and any other documents that they've specifically requested. So this document is really for you to, hopefully you've read and digested all this information, and this is just saying that we've reviewed our effectiveness and that the full council, the clerk to the council and responsible financial officer who have responsibility for the development and maintenance of the internal control environment and managing risks, the appointed councillors responsible for conducting internal audit checks, that's the Mayoress and Councillor Breen, and the independent internal auditor who reviews our council system of internal control. Cllrs are our external auditors who make a final check using the annual return, and a form is completed and signed by the responsible financial officer, the mayor and the independent internal auditor. We will receive our external audit report and certificate once this process is completed. So just to add at the bottom, training for members and officers continues to be a priority for the Town Council to address any gaps in knowledge and understanding of roles and responsibilities. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Town Clerk. So could I ask for a proposer for these documents, 10A, 10B? So this is item 12.4, that's Councillor Pennington's proposer. And could I ask for a seconder for that item? Councillor Franklin. All those in favour, please show. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you very much for that. And that's, shall I sign this one?
Yes, please. Thank you, and I'll sign. Yes.
Thank
Thank
and
you.
there's this one here that can be.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's good, thank you very much. And item 12.5 is to review and approve the risk register for the year ending 31st of March 2024, and that's attachment 11. So that's the risk register ending 31st of March 2024. Is everybody happy with the review of that risk register?
Brilliant, that's it.
Yeah, could I have a proposer?
Sorry, could I just make a
Yeah,
comment?
indeed,
in,
yeah.
in that, just for those people here, councillors who are not members of the Finance and General Purposes Committee, we are undertaking a review of the risk register over the next few months through a smaller subset of the committee itself to make sure that each of the risks are properly described and properly scored.
Indeed, thank you very much for that comment, Councillor Chuka. I did have that written in my book. I'd overseen that. Were you happy to propose the risk register? Could I have a seconder, please, for the risk register? Councillor Pennington. And all those in favour of the risk register, please show. Thank you very much. That's unanimous there. That's that item there. Item 12, section 6, to approve the annual governance statement by resolution. Section 1, page 4 of the annual governance and accountability return for the year ended 31st March 2024. Town Clerk to read this at the meeting, Town Clerk and Mayor to sign this at the meeting and date it, plus minute reference.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is the first part really of the formal annual governance annual return, and this is the governance statement. So each statement, Council, I'm going to ask you the actual statement itself and what it means when you agree to the statement. So, Sandwich Town Council, our responsibility for ensuring there is a sound system of internal control, including arrangements for the preparation of the accounting statements. We confirm to the best of our knowledge and belief with respect to the accounting statements for the year ending the 31st of March 2024 that: number 1, we have put in place arrangements for the effective financial management during the year and for the preparation of the accounting statements. Answering yes to this statement means that this authority prepared its accounting statements in accordance with the accounts and audit regulations. Number 2, we maintained an adequate system of internal control, including measures designed to prevent and detect fraud and corruption, and reviewed its effectiveness. Answering yes to this statement means that this authority made proper arrangements and accepted responsibility for safeguarding the public money and resources in its charge. Number 3, we took all reasonable steps to assure ourselves that there are no matters of actual or potential non-compliance with laws, regulations and proper practices that could have a significant financial effect on the ability of this authority to conduct its business or manage its finances. Answering yes to this statement means this authority has only done what it has legal power to do and has complied with proper practices in doing so. Number 4, provided proper opportunity during the year for the exercise of electors' rights in accordance with the requirements of the accounts and audit regulations. Answering yes to this statement means that during the year we gave all persons interested the opportunity to inspect and ask questions about this authority's accounts. Number 5, we carried out an assessment of the risks facing this authority and took appropriate steps to manage those risks, including the introduction of internal controls and or external insurance cover where required. Answering yes to this statement means we considered and documented the financial and other risks that we face and dealt with them properly. Number 6, we maintain throughout the year an adequate and effective system of internal audit of the accounting records and control systems. Answering yes to this statement means this authority arrange for a competent person, independent of the financial controls and procedures, to give an objective view on whether internal controls meet the needs of this smaller authority. Number 7, we took appropriate action on all matters raised in reports from internal and external audit. Answering yes to this statement means we responded to matters brought to our attention by internal and external audits. Number 8, we considered whether any litigation, liabilities or commitments, events or transactions occurring either during or after the year end have a financial impact on this authority and, where appropriate, have included them in the accounting statements. Saying yes to this statement means we have disclosed everything we should have about our business activity during the year, including events taking place after year end if relevant. For local councils only, trust funds including charitable, in our capacity as the sole managing trustee, we discharged our accountability responsibilities for the fund assets, including financial reporting and, if required, independent examination or audit. Saying yes to this statement means we have met all of the responsibilities where, as a body corporate, we're a sole managing trustee of a local trust or trusts. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. So hopefully if everybody understands that fully, it's just a statement to say that we've carried out our duties as a council as we should have done. So that statement needs to be signed off by myself and the town clerk. So do I have a proposer for that statement? So, Councillor Pennington?
Can I make a comment?
Oh yeah, sure, of course.
Thank you. I would propose also that the council thank the town clerk and the RFO for all the effort they've put into providing us with these assurances and all the work that goes on behind it.
Indeed, a very good comment. Thank you very much for that, Councillor Pennington. That's very good. Would you be prepared to propose the document? Thank you. And Councillor Ripley is seconding it. All those in favour of this document being signed off? Thank you, and that is carried now.
Thank you. Yes.
If you want to do that. Oh, and obviously,
Oh yes.
I haven't got the next page. I'll go through that. Item number 12, this is 6, to approve the accounting statements for 2023-24. This is section 2, page 5. So it should have, if anybody's unsure, it's got section 2 and page 5 of 6 at the bottom. And this is of the annual governance and accountability return for the year ended the 31st of March 2024. This just has to be signed off by the chair of the council if everybody is happy with this. So did anybody have any comments? Councillor Chuka's proposing and Councillor Ripley is seconding. All those that are happy with this accounting statement, please show now. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you very much, councillors. That item has been passed. I'll just hear.
Yeah.
And now it's to item to receive and consider a report from the responsible financial officer regarding the internal audit of Sandwich Town Council accounts and to review the appointment of an internal auditor for the year of 2024-25, and this is attachment number 14. And this is to say that the full reports have all passed fully, and about the reappointment of Mulberry's as our auditors. It is noted that both the town clerk and the responsible financial officer are quoted as saying that this company were very helpful in their approach and they were very easy to work with. Councillor Chuka, please stand.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we had to go through a process, didn't we, a year or so ago, of reviewing whether we want to continue with existing organisation or move to a new auditor, and there was some risk attached to that, and If I recall rightly, I believe Mulberry were the costs that they were quoting were very competitive with the others. But I'd like to say that the output and the quality of the product, at least in terms of what they've produced, is very good. It presents us very well, and it's comprehensive in terms of how it's written. So, in terms of the cost of what we pay, I think it's value for money.
Excellent value for money, isn't it? That's good. Would you be prepared to propose those? Thank you very much. And did we have a seconder, Councillor Franklin? All those in proposing Mulberry to continue for the forthcoming year? Thank you very much, councillors, and that has been passed as well. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, item 13, SANDRICH is the Sandwich and Richborough World Heritage Site project. They have submitted a request for sponsorship. The town clerk is to share a report that has been submitted by the project lead for the SANDRICH World Heritage project. The project is seeking the support of Sandwich Town Council and sponsorship to enable the project to gain momentum. This is attachment number 15, and a decision is required on this. Myself and other members that have said that we have an interest in this will not be allowed to vote on this item. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, before we decide whether to go into the detail, as a consequence of the number of councillors who aren't going to vote, we actually aren't quorate in terms of making the decision.
Oh.
So I don't know how that would play.
Yeah, so you're quorate for the meeting, and if people have said that they have an interest, they clearly wouldn't be involved in the vote. So you can make a decision this evening.
Below the quote number for a decision?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as obviously it's more than, there might be people against the idea or abstaining, so obviously, that has to play into, process.
Okay.
So does anybody have any comments, first of all, about the report that's been submitted? Councillor Anderson, please stand.
Yes, I fully support this. I think it's a very good idea. I think it's a challenge, but I think we should support it. But I'm just wondering if you're asking for enough money, because it's not clear to me what the £500 will cover. I assume that you're going to have some sort of conference, or what is it for exactly?
That's right.
Because it's not spelled out.
Yeah, I can probably actually answer that. What it is the lead or chair of this group has actually, you've quite rightly assumed that quite correctly, has arranged a conference with a number of university lecturers in history and archaeology, and of course they're only prepared to come to Sandwich if we can host them and if we can do the publicity and everything like that. So the funding that is being requested is to put on a conference on I think it's the 18th of July, and we have a large number of specific university and professionals from historic organisations, but also including I believe it's the chairman of the World Heritage UK organisation, so which is happening. So, Councillor Ripley, did you want to add anything to that at all?
Not really.
Please stand.
I will do when I can.
Yeah, help her up, chaps.
You've got a crane in here. Yes, just to reiterate what you're saying, it's we have about 18 people attending, as you say, including the head of World Heritage UK, who's coming quite a distance to speak to us. So we thought the very least we could do is put on some sort of do for them, food for them anyway. But the £500 isn't just for that, obviously. It's for all the other setup costs of the project initially anyway. Yeah, so it's not just for food for people.
Oh, definitely not.
No,
definitely not.
There's a
No,
lot of,
they'd be lucky if they get tea and biscuits. So.
Well, I'm having tea and biscuits.
Thank you, Jean. Councillor Chuka, would you like to comment?
So I was going to say, I support the project entirely. I think it's a brilliant idea in terms of something we should do, but just a slight caution around the town council's role in this. I think Kickstart in terms of some seed money, fully supportive, but I wouldn't want to see the council in just through time and need from the project to keep coming back. I know it says in the paper that that's not the case, and that's brilliant. I would want to see a much broader avenue for funding, and I think that's what's been intimated, and
That's right.
fully supportive if that's the case.
If I may just reply to that very briefly, with all due respect, excuse the pun, but when we've got the big hitters signed up for this project who will be coming on the 18th of July, so these are notable people in their fields, professionals, we will then be able to apply for lottery funding, because we will have the names associated with the project that the Heritage Lottery Fund will open their eyes to and say that is worthwhile supporting. Councillor Ripley, if you
can I
can.
just reiterate entirely that the £500 is a one-off?
It is indeed.
It's a complete one-off.
Yeah. It's what's called a priming grant. So it's a priming grant just to get us on. Councillor Fortescue, did you have a question?
Yes, I can't help thinking that the £500 is too little. I mean, I note that travel, parking, etc., £50. But £50 doesn't go very far when it comes to travel and parking.
No. Well, obviously it's up to the councillors to, if the councillors wished to give more money to prime this project, then obviously it's at your discretion. So, Councillor Franklin, please.
Yeah, I can't understand why we can't be core because it concerns us all. So even though I might not go on the committee, I think we should all, as a big council, as representing Sandwich, decide to vote on this because it's the time scale. It's only, was it 4 weeks? The 18th of July, something like that. So I think we should support it. If they offer £500, I think we should, the £500, that's what they've asked for. So I'm all for it, because I think it'd be good, especially if we've got these people coming down, World Heritage Site. We've got to encourage them to come to Sandwich, haven't we? And they've got the knowledge.
Exactly.
That's right. And they're most probably going to pay for their own transport, car parking. So it'll be minimal, because it'll be part of bigger organisations, aren't they?
Exactly.
So I'm all for it. I think we should have the vote tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Is that your proposal, is it?
Yeah, we have the vote tonight.
Councillor Mallet?
Well, just in the sense of car parking, are we not able to give free passes to our car park? Because half of it is ours.
It is, yeah, but it's actually managed by Dover District Council. So, unfortunately, I don't believe we've got any free passes. The passes are designated to particular vehicles or members of staff, unfortunately. But that is, it's a sound idea, but unfortunately, it's out of our hands. So that's unfortunate. So Councillor Pennington.
Well, yes. Thank you very briefly. I think this is a terrific proposal and exactly the kind of activity that we need to see in Sandwich. It sounds as if the proposal itself could have answered more questions than it does, but I think given the relative shortage of time, I think we should signal it as part of this.
Oh, super. That's excellent. And Councillor Anderson.
Yes, I'm sorry to. I'm just looking at the University of Kent website because sometimes my husband and I were employees of the University of Kent, and he was in the history department. And I was a bit surprised to see this very heavy concentration with Christchurch. History at the University of Kent is regarded as the best, or has been regarded as the best in the country. And they do still have a centre for medieval studies. So I just wondered whether you've made any contact with them.
Councillor Ripley, would you like to answer Councillor Anderson?
As you know, my husband has been behind this project, and he has made contact with both universities exactly the same time. And the people that are coming are the people that have responded most positively.
Indeed.
I just want to say that we do have quite a close affiliation with Christchurch, don't we? Could we get invited every year to go to I don't think we've ever been invited to the University of Kent for anything.
No. That's correct, yeah. So I have a proposal from Councillor Franklin, and I have a seconder from Councillor Tuker. So to take this forward, so those who are able to,
And is this with the £500, Mr.
oh,
Hall?
that's
Yes.
what
Yeah.
Councillor
Yeah.
Franklin had
Yeah.
proposed
Thank
at this
Thank
stage.
you.
So those that are allowed to, could you please vote now with your cards?
Unanimous. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that passed? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much for that, councillors, that has been passed. Thank you. Item number 14, Black Lane allotment reserve request, and this is for members to consider a report from the RFO that outlines the proposal to ring fence the surplus of funds as at the 31st of March 2024 for the Black Lane allotments for allotment site expenditure in the future. This is attachment number 16 and a decision is required. Basically, it's just to say that this funding that is surplus from last year will be put forward ring fenced only for the allotments and will not go into any general fund and be spent on anything else. So I've got a proposer of Councillor Tuker and Councillor
Yeah, I was
Franklin.
going to say, because there might be extra at the moment, but they're talking about moving the water meter, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it could be a big expense on
Yeah.
that, so I'd like to do a proposal that we fence it.
So you second?
Yeah.
Well, I'll wait a minute. I'm sorry, Town Clerk. Just to be transparent and clear, is Councillor Franklin eligible to vote on this?
You mean it because he has an allotment? Well, that's for him to decide if he thinks it's an interest or not.
Did you
Well,
need to?
I don't actually have an allotment like Councillor Wiles does.
Oh right. Oh, you
No,
don't.
no.
Oh right. Oh sorry. Beg your pardon.
No.
I didn't think he did, but
Oh right.
I
Oh,
did it 50 years ago, but
oh right. Oh sorry.
I don't think it counts.
I just wanted to make
Ever since
sure
my
it's
wife,
clear. I didn't want anybody voting money for their own.
Mr. Mayor, ever since my wife chipped me new potatoes, I'll give it up.
Oh, super. Okay, thank you. So I have a proposal from Councillor Tuker and I have a seconder from Councillor Franklin. All those in favour, please show. One abstention, and that is passed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So you buy your potatoes from Tesco's now.
Well, I got so digging them up, Mr. Mayor, and I couldn't believe it. We hadn't married long yet. And I got home from work, which was a bit bad, but I got home from work Saturday morning, she said, I couldn't have a text, I've got my allotment, I've got a sofa, I've got chain from my work clothes out the wet things, and she chipped them.
Oh, dear.
First spuds out of my allotment,
Oh.
the new potatoes, chipped.
Oh, dear. Well, I'll make no comment on that. Item number 15 is a campaign for the improvement of the safety of lithium batteries and their disposal. The Town Council has received a request from the researcher for Lord Foster, who has been campaigning on this issue in the House of Lords. Local councils are all being approached across the country to seek their support for this campaign. This is the Lord Foster and Electrical Safety First Safety Bill, and we're being asked if this council would like to support this initiative by Lord Foster. Councillor Moorhouse.
Proposal we support.
Yeah.
Indeed. Councillor Tuker.
Yes, so I looked on their website, so I think in terms of what we were served up is probably only just a small piece of the whole campaign, because actually electrical safety first look at a number of aspects. It's not just this bill. I think we should support it. In terms of what we can do is we can say we support it, and we can probably put a link to their webpage on our website. Only yesterday, I think, South Korea, it's the other side of the world, but there was a fire in lithium battery factory. 24 people died as a result. We don't know quite why it happened. So this is an area that does need attention and care for the future.
Indeed. Thank you for that. Councillor Mallet.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think I'm going to echo a little bit of what Councillor Tuker has said, but in supporting it, I'm not really sure what we're doing apart from saying we support it. It's, to my mind, it's almost meaningless. I'm sorry to say that.
Well, that's right. Yeah. I believe that in supporting it, we're showing our support as a council that anything to change the way that these lithium batteries are being produced and manufactured and sold. I believe Lord Foster is trying to bring in better regulation. I did read up about it, CE markings, special markings for batteries that are in the UK to show that they are adequate to the electrical first safety standard, things like that. So currently lithium batteries can come into this country from all sorts of manufacturers all around the world, and there's no safety standards regulating them whilst in this country. So we're saying that we are supporting those regulations. Councillor Chuka.
Yeah, I think Councillor Mallett's right. We won't make a difference. I suppose it's a blanket approach to all councils.
Indeed.
Much larger councils do have roles and responsibilities in terms of workplaces, etc. and doing visits, so that's where touch points are. But what we are doing is giving another council number to any representation through government, through Parliament, in terms of bill. They can say X number of councils around the country support.
Yes, exactly. So I believe Councillor Moorhouse have proposed this, and I'm quite happy to second this. So those in favour of supporting, please show of your cards. Thank you, and that's carried. Thank you very much, councillors. Item number 16, Bay Hall Insurance. Members are to consider a report from the RFO to request delegated authority to renew the property insurance for the Bay Hall property. This is attachment number 18. A decision is required. Town clerk has got the actual cost, because I think we were being asked to delegate up to 1,500.
Yes.
Obviously this property is being marketed, so obviously when the property is sold, then we would be asking for a rebate on our premium, but until it is sold, it is this council's duty to make sure that that building is insured. Town Clerk, did you want to?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, so since the agenda was published, I have now got the actual renewal information. So the total amount due is £1,035.83. So that is the renewal figure for the insurance for Bay Hall.
So that will be the figure that the RFO will be undertaking to spend if you give her delegated authority. Do I have a proposer for this, or Councillor Franklin and Councillor Pennington seconding it? All those in favour of giving delegated authority? That's been carried. Thank you very much, councillors. Item 17, GPC Payments Report 2023-24, and this is SO 42.4. Is that NE? Oh, T.
T. Yes,
T. Sorry. Standing Order 4. And this is the Town Clerk's share report that details the expenditure for 2023 and 2024 using the general power of competence, and the report is to be received and noted. This is attachment number 19. Basically these are the items that are not covered, I believe, is that correct?
Yes. So,
by delegated authority on minute.
Or a power that exists.
Or a power that already exists. So
Yeah.
these items are under GPC.
Yeah.
I'll hand over to the Town Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this was obviously one of the annual Town Council meeting standing orders that were in the list that I said that I would provide you a report at this meeting. So this is to share a report that details expenditure incurred since May 2023, when you adopted the general power of competence, to the end of March 2024. You resolved at the annual council meeting the 11th of May 2023 that you satisfied the relevant conditions and were eligible to exercise the general power of competence under Section 8 of the Localism Act 2011. The adoption of GPC remains in force. The eligibility of STC for the GPC will continue until the annual council meeting in May 2027, when it will expire unless STC formally resolves that it satisfies the conditions at that time. The standing order SO 4.2.4T stipulates the report will be produced that lists the expenditure incurred under the GPC for the previous financial year 2023-2024, and the RFO has prepared the schedule attached for the payments for this report. Members are invited to receive and note the details of the expenditure. Thank you.
Okay, so Councillor Anderson.
Yes. I'm perfectly happy with this, except that I don't understand, because I thought we had a grant for the hygiene packs. they seem to have been paid for.
We-
What else?
We did have a grant, yes. So actually the expenditure, although it was paid, we did recoup that money through the grant. So yes, all that money was recouped through the grant.
So would that still come under the GPC?
Yeah, because we
It
did
will,
it using
okay.
that power at the time.
Super.
Yeah.
Good query there.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so if you're happy to sign this off, this is for the items that come under GPC, just to show that they are done in a legal and responsible manner by this council. Could I have a proposer for this item? So we've got Councillor Fortescue and Councillor Moorhouse.
Yeah.
And all those in favour, please show. And that's unanimous. That has been passed as well. Thank you very much. It just shows this council is maintaining its transparency. And item number 18 is the date of the next full council meeting, which will be Monday, the 29th of July 2024. Please submit any apologies if you cannot make that date, if you're on holiday or otherwise engaged. That would be most pleasant of you. Thank you very much. Councillor Moorhouse, did you have a question?
Any news on the Chromebooks?
Literally, they were due to be delivered tomorrow, but there has been a delay in the invoice being paid. So apologies for that. I'm trying to get another update from Cloudy IT. As soon as I have that update, I will be sharing that with members. It shouldn't be too much longer, but it might be a week or two delay.
Councillor Mallet?
Sorry, I've got Museum and Archive Committee on 6:30.
On the
Same day.
29th.
Yes.
Okay, so you may just be late?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes, well, there are lots of us.
Oh yeah, well so am I. In that case.
It shouldn't be clashing with the
No,
same.
it shouldn't be clashing.
But maybe that's an old version.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I've
don't
got
think
my
that's the
I
correct
think there
date.
have been changes.
Yeah, I don't think that's the correct date. I'll communicate
Town
that.
clerk can make sure, but thank you for raising that. Councillor Moorhouse?
Just a small housekeeping issue. Could we have notification when the side door is locked?
Oh, indeed.
Because on several occasions recently, I've come to enter the building and found that door was locked and ended up being late as a result of it.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Councillor Franklin,
Yeah, I'm
finally.
just going to say a little thing. The first time in 50 years that we haven't had a Tollbridge Fund meeting after a Sandwich Town Council meeting.
Indeed. You get.
So perhaps we'll all end up going home earlier.
I'm letting you go home early and spend some lovely time with your potato chipper. And then I thereby close the meeting and release you for an evening of enjoyment. And that is 8:25, I believe.